Hi guys, today we are going to learn passive voice with double object. In the previous class we learned interrogative, imperative and affirmative sentences, how they can be changed into passive voice. Today with double object. So let us see, we have asked him a favor. Asked who is the performer of this action? We. This is the doer of the action. The performer of the action is known as subject. What is the action? Word, verb. This is asked. What we asked? We asked a favor. This word, this noun, it is directly related to the verb asked. So, this is called direct object. Direct object is directly related to the verb, action word, and affected to the action word. This is called direct object. And asked a favor, who is the recipient of that action, a favor, him. So this is what we call indirect object. So in active voice sentences, you can place active voice sentence. We have asked him a favor, that is indirect object first, direct object next. And you can also write, we have asked a favor to him. We have asked a favor to him. This is another way of writing affirmative, active voice sentence. So when there are two active voice sentences, the passive voice can also be with two sentences, and how they can be changed today we are going to learn.
Verb. The structure of verb. A verb can be studied in two ways, that is, transitive verb and intransitive verb. Transitive verb takes a monotransitive verb as detransitive verb. Monotransitive verbs and detransitive verb. Intransitive verbs have no objects. They do not take any objects, so that there is no passive construction for that. Now let us see, monotransitive verb means it takes only one object. A verb transitive follows only one object, the direct object. Observe here, the sentence wrote is an action and it is followed by a single object, a letter. The direct object, detransitive verb is subject verb transitive, object and object, another object. Two objects are there. Wrote what? Letter. So this is direct object. Letter to whom? Recipient of this action. This is indirect object. Let us study, to understand the passive voice better, one must identify what is direct object in a sentence and what is indirect object. See the direct object. The direct object of a verb is the thing being acted upon, that is, the receiver of the action. For example, if you see, you can find the direct object by finding a verb and asking what. First of all, we have to find the verb and ask the object what. When you ask what, you will get that object. This is called direct object. Usually, the direct object may be inanimate, non-living thing. She is cooking a delicious meal. What is the action here? Cooking. The performer, the doer of the action is she, subject. And what is she doing? Cooking what? Delicious meal. Delicious meal is the direct object. And for whom? Who is the recipient of this delicious meal? Me. So this is indirect object. Cooking what? Delicious meal. That is what we call direct object. Identify the indirect object in this sense. Direct object is the recipient of the direct object. Indirect object is the recipient of the direct object. Usually, indirect object is animate, living being, living thing. She is cooking me a delicious meal. You can place indirect object first and direct object next. Who is the recipient of this action? Me. Sumitra sent my brother a parcel. Sent what? Sent what? Parcel. So this is direct object. Sent to whom? My brother. Recipient of this parcel is my brother. So the recipient of this action is my brother. It is placed first. It is indirect object. The doer of the action is Sumitra. This is subject. This is verb transitive followed by two objects. We placed indirect object first and direct object next. What Sumitra sent? A parcel. So this is direct object. Who received the parcel? My brother. This is indirect object. So passive voice. When a sentence, active sentence contains two objects, the passive voice should be changed like active voice verb transitive indirect object and direct object. If you place indirect object first and direct object next, no need of preposition before indirect object. Preposition is implied. When you take direct object first and indirect object next, there should be preposition before indirect object. Similarly, passive voice can be changed. If you take direct object first as a subject of the passive verb, indirect object goes at the end, and the passive be form can be changed as usual, that is, verb be form plus past participle, as according to the tense. Similarly, direct object you can place direct object first and indirect object goes next. If you place direct object first and indirect object next, then there should be a preposition before that. We did in the earlier classes in passive rule. Observe here, my father has bought me a new mobile. Bought what? A new mobile. So this is direct object. For whom? Me. This is indirect object. When you want to change the sentence, you can place direct object first here and has been bought because present perfect tense is there in active voice. For me, indirect object placed at the end. That's why there should be preposition before indirect object. When you observe one more sentence, I have been bought a new mobile. You place direct object first here, indirect object first here. And have been bought is the passive form and new mobile is direct object goes at the end. So that no need of preposition before when you want to place indirect object first. Passive voice with double object, when you consider this example, he gave a dog a bone. Gave what? A bone. To whom? Dog. So this is direct object fall upon and the receiver of this bone is dog. This is indirect object. You can place direct object first in passive expression. Passive verb is same since it is a past tense. Past be form is used and past participle for passive form. And you can place indirect object at the end. By placing indirect object first, you can write in passive form and direct object goes next. Ask her a question. Imperative. Started with main verb. What you ask? Question. Direct object. To whom? Her. This is indirect object. So when you change that in sentences, start with let by placing direct object first and indirect object next. So let her be asked a question. It starts with let since it is imperative and you place indirect object first here and be asked is the passive form and a question is direct object.
Let's review the lesson once. We learned today in a double object pattern of the sentence how they can be changed into passive voice. Here is the subject, the police officer showed, verb transitive, indirect object, the way is the direct object. What he showed? The way. And who is the recipient of this action? Us. This is called indirect object. When you place direct object first and indirect object next, there should be preposition before that. So the police officer showed the way to us. The same sentence can also be expressed by placing indirect object first and the direct object next, or direct object first and indirect object next. And the passive form of this sentence is the way was shown to us by the police officer, or we were shown the way. We were shown the way, or the way was shown. Either of the ways is right. And thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that we meet in the next video.